Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Let me ask you guys this. Number 2 pick, Charlotte Hornets. You got
I have a hot take here.
LaMelo Ball already, right? You kind of have the guy that I would assume you think is going to be your point guard of the future, point guard long term, right? Scoot Henderson, very much a point guard. And for my money, I think that Scoot is probably the second best prospect in this draft.
Yeah.
If you have a guy like LaMelo, great passer, great vision, you probably want shooting around him. I think Brandon Miller's the third best prospect in this draft, but I think that there's a difference between him and Scoot. So who do you take there? Are you going Scoot? Are you going Brandon Miller? Do you go with the best prospect, even if it's not necessarily the best fit? Do you go with the best fit, even if you're not guaranteed, if you're not convinced that LaMelo Ball is 100% going to be your superstar long term? What do you do? That, to me, that's the most interesting one. T.O., you said you got a hot take. Hit me with
hot take. So, all right, if I'm thinking as a GM and I'm thinking about winning only, and I want to preface what I'm about to say with that. If I'm thinking about winning only, I'm not sure what Miles Bridges' situation is right now, but if I could get him on the cheap, I'd consider it. Then I would explore trade options for LaMelo.
Yeah.
To pair him with a maybe not a perennial all-star wing, but right there at that level. Bring him a winning wing that can get you buckets. Bring him in. I'd draft Scoot, and then I'd ride the Mark Williams train. There's a lot of options for Charlotte right here. And I like LaMelo Ball. I really do. I think he's a talented player. He's big. He can, create a lot of things off the bounce. He's flashy. Fans like him. I don't know how conducive it is to playoff basketball once he finally gets there, if he finally gets there. I think Scoot is I'm trying to word this correctly.
Jason Hart called him Derrick Rose, prime Derrick Rose.
I think it's close. And he doesn't have those herky-jerky movements as much, but he's every bit as powerful. I would jump on that and try to find some ways to keep the ball in his hands. If you draft him and have LaMelo there, LaMelo's no good off the ball. That's your issue. I would draft Scoot. I'd try to find a way to trade LaMelo. And that's not a shot at LaMelo, because I think he's a fringe all-star guy, maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like that through the course of his career. I just don't know if what he does is necessarily all that conducive to winning. And I think Scoot Henderson could get you to a conference finals eventually. Is that a hot take? Because I thought about that a lot. Like, how could I get Scoot the ball, get LaMelo out of the way, and then find a way to have a bigger wing that could score, that could shoot, that could play off to the side of somebody like a Scoot that has that type of mentality, that type of athleticism, shot creation ability, not only for him, but for his teammates. I think he's a generation type point guard because of that athleticism. I don't think that Derrick Rose comparison is that far off. I think that's a good one. Early Derrick Rose. People don't remember early Derrick Rose. Specimen.
MVP Derrick Rose.
Specimen.
NBA Finals Derrick Rose.
Specimen. I mean, that kind of guy.
Derrick Rose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you there. I just, the fit,
a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, the fit makes more sense putting Brandon Miller next to LaMelo Ball, but then that means that you're investing everything in LaMelo Ball, and I'm not ready to do that.
I'm not either.
I think he's fantastic. I think LaMelo Ball is closer to Trae Young than he is to Luka, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Think about that. Think about being if you get rid of him, you put the ball in Scoot's hands, you bring Miles Bridges back for the minimum, you can pay a lot of money to a 3. And then you have a 5 and Mark Williams, who I think is a longtime pro, because what he's good at is what's valued. Mm-hmm. There's some pieces in Charlotte to work with. You got to put them together, but there's definite pieces to play around with if you're willing to do so, and if Michael's willing to let him do so.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
Well, how much of a role does Michael have? He's in talks to sell a major stake of the franchise right now.
Yeah.
The Hornets' level of direction really isn't there.
Yeah.
If I had to choose between going to Charlotte and Portland, I actually would choose the Blazers because they've proven it more. They just have. Charlotte at 2. So what I think is interesting about this draft is you just said, and I don't disagree with you, that Scoot Henderson could make a conference finals, right? You're talking about that. You're talking about that with a guy who's in the same draft class as a guy that we're proclaiming to be maybe the best pure prospect we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Entering the NBA draft. It just shows you, like, for what's been made about this class in general, the top of it has a chance to be generational. It really does. My argument is this. If the consensus is that, oh my, if Scoot Henderson is there at 3 for Portland, there is no way that you could ever pass on him. Even though they've got a Damian Lillard situation. There's a lot of people clamoring about Damian Lillard being traded. But if that's the argument to the degree, don't tell me that LaMelo Ball is the reason why you're not taking someone who could make the conference finals someday, who could be that type of player. Don't tell me that. You need to go after the best talent available at that number 2 slot. And I believe that at the age of 19, 6'2", 6'3" with a 6'9" wingspan, that the closer we get to this draft, I think the Scoot Henderson talk is only going to pick up. And in the last 18 months, having covered 2 of his games when he was with G League Ignite about a year and a half ago, and having talked with him closely, at that point, spending about 20, 30 minutes with him one-on-one, 18 months ago, the shy kid he was, to start of last year, and Jason Hart and Ignite, everybody around that program said, Scoot, if you're going to do this, you're ultra talented, man. You're special. If you're going to do this, that swagger that you've got on IG, all that personality you've got, you have got to be a leader. You've got to talk, and you've got to take on ownership, or else, when you go up against Wembanyama, if you get overwhelmed, sorry, but whether you like it or not, you're not at Alabama. You're not at Duke. You get a one shot, you get one night to really showcase what your skill set is. The fact that he took on that live job interview in 2 hours against Wemby and was that good has only gotten better. Is incredibly personable. You spend 10 minutes with the kid, you're like, wow. And the element with Charlotte, to your point, they might give Miles Bridges a deal. Miles Bridges in the back half of the 2021-22 season averaged close to 22 points per game. There are character issues there.
Yeah. Major character issues.
There are off-the-floor issues there.
Yep.
And whether anybody wants to hear it or not,
NBA forgives.
But the Charlotte Hornets, do they want to do a deal with Bridges and then also draft Brandon Miller? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. So that, to me, the character issues, they do exist. It's not severely knocking Brandon Miller's stock, but those things just don't go away. I would take Scoot.
Yep, I would too. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field 68 content.